Okay, today I'm going to give you a little fun demonstration of how dowsing works. And I want you to first realize that I'm not a psychic. I'm higher initiate in Ekankar. It doesn't. I'm not interested in psychic awareness or whatever that comes to some people without any other assets, spiritual assets, which are necessary for it to work. But I've gotten to the point where I can douse things, and if it's a past issue, it's almost 100% accurate, and everybody can get to be this, and that's what I'm saying in my videos about the coming golden age when everybody will be able to just know. Now, dowsing is just a one method of measuring truth. And dowsing is a yes and no issue, so it's easy to test, very easy to test. Yeah, if you watch the Bruce Lipton videos, he douses people. He does muscle testing on them to check out whether they have health issues or not, and he's virtually 100% accurate too. Even though Bruce only works on the subconscious level at the highest, for the most part, and we all work sometimes on the spiritual levels without even having any knowledge of what we're doing. But Bruce works on the subconscious level. If you watch Dan Nelson, who I talk about a lot, he invented the Wayback Water, and you can search him under Wayback, Dan Nelson's water on the web. He works with dowsing too, but he uses this method here. Now, you can get a certain amount of plus and minus, in that too. But the method I use, and I've told you about this before on other videos, is I use this pointer, and when the pointer points that way, like that, and I actually didn't mean to do that, it did it itself. That's yes. In other words, it's to my right. So if it points the other way, which I'm pushing it over there, that's the left. And what I want to do is I'm going to run some videos on my little tablet, and I'm going to show you how I can constantly measure whether or not what's going on these videos is accurate. It's pretty simple. All I do is just point it to the yes and no. Now this is my tablet. I'm going to hold that up for you. And at the bottom of my tablet, I've got a little yes and no screen, and you can't see it very well, but so yes is plus and no is negative. So as these people talk on these videos, I can test whether or not what they're saying is true, or if it's possibly going to be true. Now, truth is never determined until it happens. I mean, as far as future events, there's just no way you can know what future events are going to be, and the reason for that is that all consciousness on Earth has some part in what comes out. So we all determine outcomes together as a group, and small groups of really highly advanced people spiritually can influence outcomes very easily, and they do. Sometimes they do it without even thinking about it. They just do it because they know what's right, and the right stuff happens. Or in my instance, a friend of mine and I were looking into an issue of a woman who had gotten into had a car accident. She'd been hit by a car, and she was in a coma for some over 24 hours. And everybody in the family was sure she was going to die, and I kept getting using my dowsing and that she was going to live. And I kept telling them that, and nobody believed me. And finally I got up with my friend, and the two of us got on the phone together, and her brother called me up right as we did it and said, my sister's out of the hospital, she's fine. Well, that wasn't any surprise to me, but what happened was the car didn't even hit her. Well, what I got from that, because I knew the car had hit her, in dowsing, I'd already gotten that she had a cracked hip, various abrasions, and a broken toe. So she was definitely hurt, but she wasn't going to die. Well, when the accident didn't happen, she didn't. Of course, she was in a coma for all of that time. She didn't know what was going on here, and immediately she assumed that the car didn't hit her. Well, it did. The car hit her. What we did was reverse the time. Went back, and she came through the thing without the car hitting her. Now, this is a pretty unusual occasion. Doesn't happen very often. The reason being that when you reverse time, you change spiritual outcomes. In other words, she doesn't have to go through that broken hip and broken toe stuff that she would normally have to go through, which had some cause and effect things involved in it. It was partly karmic. So she was relieved of that karma. Now, that's not always good. And if I had done that on purpose, if I had gotten her out of that on purpose, I would have karma to make up for that. I would have to take on some of her karma in doing it. But that was not my intent. And so therefore I'm absolved of karma. And so is my friend. We didn't decide to do that. But that would be black magic if we did it. And we don't do black magic. We're not interested in psychic garbage like this. So that was just one incident, but these happen fairly occasionally. Sometimes more, sometimes less, and also time shifts occur. One day I was late for a meeting, a spiritual meeting, and I woke up at 9:11. Well, 9/11 is a pretty big number in the United States. After the 9/11 towers, you notice that really well. And I got up, I looked at the clock, it was 9:11. Well, I was late. I had to be at the meeting at 10. So I thought, well, you got to take a really quick shower. So I jumped in the shower and came out of the shower. When then looked at the clock, it was 8:57. Well, I didn't make an hour mistake on that. That actually happened. So, and that was supposed to happen. It's a spiritual experience for me to see it happen, to see the time shifts. It reinforces what I know. It's always nice to see things like that happen because you know that what you're getting is true. And I get these little nudges every day on something. Now, the only way you're going to get this kind of reinforcement and spirituality into your life is by doing spiritual exercises, and they're creative exercises. I've told you about them on other tapes, and if you don't do them at least 15 minutes a day, you're not going to get anywhere trying to do the things I'm telling you about right now. It's just you got to have a degree of spirituality in your life, and you can't be looking at why or outcomes. You got to be looking at cause. You have to be cause. Okay, let's see how this works.
It's coming in towards the Earth and has been known to the astronomers since 1841 via a shift in the orbits of the outer planets. Some magnetic force was causing that, and they assumed it was.
So we're getting negative, negative, negative.
We find, however, that the position that Gabriel Nibiru is going to take up is identified by the other 9 planets, and we see an attempt to
positive
remove that from the knowledge of the Earth when the astronomers removed Pluto as being a star, reducing it from 9 to 8, and now we've got Nibiru coming in. We'll bring it back up to 9, but Pluto, of course, is still there.
Still untrue.
Which is 10 in total. So we see why, once we go through the slide, they did that. Blatantly obvious. As said, Nibiru is the angel Gabriel. It was photographed by the infrared imaging satellite on October the 21st, 2003. There are other reports, however, 50 years ago, of very clear photographs of the iron star coming in.
It doesn't say
the wings are
plus or
iron
minus.
atoms given off by the powerful magnetic field. It is molten iron. The planet is portrayed in an ancient Anunnaki mural in Babylon.
Untrue.
Where the 10 planets plus the sun and moon total 12.
That's not what that is. I don't know what it is, but that's not what it is.
We see from top left reading to the right Neptune, Venus, Pluto, and you'll see the position distances from the sun in the center, which indicate that
still untrue.
Mercury is in its right position, Venus is slightly further out, the Earth and Moon slightly further out. Then we have Nibiru, then Mars, and we have Saturn, of course, Jupiter and Uranus, all marked out clearly there.
Still untrue. What are you saying?
I've overlaid the Nibiru Gabriel.
This is really hard for me to do because of where I'm holding this.
That it's the counting from Mercury, the fourth out. Here's the actual photograph taken on the 21st of October 2003.
Okay, that photograph was taken. I don't know what it is, but it was taken.
In the next slide, the positions of the planets show the 12 spheres and the approaching Gabriel Nibiru, and how it will settle in between the Earth and Mars.
Something about this is true.
And
I'm not sure what it is.
It has its own planetary system. 7 planets orbiting it are the 7 angels of Revelation. So when you back engineer the book of Revelation, you can see that it is referring to Gabriel, who is the angel of God, because God has come to the earth. And as God has come
Gabriel
to the earth,
is the angel God.
So the messages are angels and stars.
They really have to ask questions each time in order to get right answers.
Angel Gabriel. It was photographed by the infrared imaging satellite on October the 21st, 2003.
That's true. It did photograph that.
50 years ago. Of
his assumptions are just incorrect.
Of the iron star coming in. The wings are iron atoms given off by the powerful magnetic field. It is molten iron. The planet is portrayed in an ancient Anunnaki mural in Babylon, where the 10 planets plus the sun and moon, total 12, are depicted.
There's something about what he's saying and it's true.
We see from top left reading to the right Neptune, Venus and Pluto.
There's something really right about this.
Distances from the sun in the center, which indicate that Mercury is in its right position, Venus is slightly further out, the Earth and Moon slightly further out. Then we have Nibiru, then Mars. And,
wrong.
We have
Nibiru is a problem here.
Uranus, all marked out clearly there. Now, this is the principal reason why NASA built the Space Hubble.
Wrong.
Which immediately
That's not the principal reason.
Rediscovered Planet X. Its space images so detailed, the race was on to build underground bunkers where the elite would go into hiding, leaving the rest of mankind to be burned alive by Nibiru. And I should add that they are also trying to ignite the surface of the Earth with a air bomb by releasing either a nuclear blast or bringing some asteroid in to
Okay. One of the problems that I have with this is I'm going with a ongoing discussion and not asking plus and minus questions. In other words, the question has to be really clear if you're going to get a really clear answer. So some of the answers that I got were about parts of what he said. That if I got to something that was really negative, untrue, it would jump way over, as it did several times when he talked about Nibiru. I just got through doing another video on Nibirian, I think they call them Nibirian, who are assumed to be Anunnaki by some people, and they weren't. I got solidly that the Nibirians are not Anunnaki. It actually means giant. From another thing I looked at, and giants apparently did occur. It's talked about in the Old Testament Bible with Goliath and whatever. So maybe they were Nibirians. I don't know, but it doesn't really matter to me whether they came or not. They're not the ones that we're talking about on my discussions. I'm talking about Pleiadians. Pleiadians, I talk about it, tell you all about them, and I use the same word, Anunnaki, which means people basically from outer space, if you will. So that's how I do it, and I could show you, if you had something like, what I often start with is, what's your name? And if you tell me your name wrong, this thing will point wrong. If you tell me your name right, it'll point right, and that's really the key way to start, because you need to calibrate these things. If you're doing calibrations on people using muscle testing, you're holding your arm up in the air, and the other guy's pushing down on it, and you're trying to find out when you get to something that's incorrect, and you can push down on it real easy, because anything that's a lie doesn't hold up. And it's the same way with this. If it's a lie, it goes to the negative. If it's plus, it goes to the positive. And I can, if it's happened already, I can test it. I can find out whether it's true or not. Now, like I said, if it hasn't happened yet, I can't sit around and forecast the future. And if somebody tells you they can, they're a liar. You just cannot forecast the future. Now, it's easier to forecast the future amongst a bunch of non-spiritual people, or people that are stuck in their ways. Because if you're stuck in your way, you don't change. And spiritual people change. They give up stuff really quickly. If it's necessary for them to give something up spiritually, they give it up in a heartbeat. And the only way they're going to know to give it up is they ask the question to the inner master, and the inner master says, "Give it up, Jim." And where does it go? I let it go. I'm not going to hang on to anything that's going to keep me back spiritually. So that's the story for today. So I've given you an interesting tool that anybody with spiritual experience can utilize, and it works very well for people who have been doing creative exercises for years. Almost, like I said, almost 100%. I bet 99.9% correct. There may be some times. Everybody makes mistakes, and this wouldn't be any different to make a mistake here. But I'm not pointing that. I'm certainly not pointing that thing. I have no intention of changing outcomes, or I was not interested in what that guy had to say on that tape, on that video. It didn't make any difference to me whether he was correct or not. And if you get involved in outcomes, if you become interested in whether it's true or not, you influence it, and that can't happen, or you know, can't do that. And certainly I can make that thing go left or right if I want to. But that's the tool for today. Hope you enjoyed it.